He looks like deer in the headlights. His eyes start spinning around like some kind of, ooh, like, what am I going to say? I'm halfway through this sentence and I can't figure out the grammar or the content, but I'll just look around, ooh, like that sound from the Twilight Zone. Da, 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 da. Come on, you can do it, Hiken. But they're worried, because if this war ends and the strait is open, then people are going to be into Iran. They're going to look at that and they're going to see rubble. They're going to see $1 trillion military devastated. They're not going to find any plane. She was right to say it. They were flying 30 or 40 sorties every day in their jets. They're gone. Their missile assembly, they hit the steel plants, they hit the optic plants, they hit all of the military industries that are capable of replenishing on their own. Their mountains are sealed. The nuclear material will have to be, somebody's going to go down in there and get it, but the mountain is sealed. And when you look at those posters, I don't want to laugh, it's serious stuff, of all the theocrats and the...
See how that works? It's not funny. We just laugh.
Revolutionary...
It's so stupid.
The heads of the
Guard, the Islamic Guard. When you look at those,
right, when it's
look at those people, there's none left.
So
they've wiped them all out. So that's going to take them years to reconstruct. And that's going to be, that knowledge will, if they can stop this and get the strait open by hook or crook, by June or July, the price of gas is going to be cheap for the summer driving. And the foreign investment, the Gulf, right. He's going to go over to the Gulf people and he's going to say to them, he is, okay, I neutered Iran for you, and you have 600 fighters, you 6 nations, and you didn't send one, not one. The Israelis did with half your jets. So you promised $5 or $6 trillion. I want to see it now. And if you don't, you can deal with the wounded bear yourself someday. And that's going to be a powerful incentive for them to invest in the United States. And then he's going to be in a very popular position vis-a-vis that Europeans. They're going to look stupid because the price of the strait will be open, and suddenly for the first time in years there's no threat of a nuclear Iranian tipped ballistic missile hitting their cities. And that threat is gone for, 5 or 6, 7, 8 years. If you have a good president that follows them, it can be gone forever. But they're going to look stupid. He's going to be in a good position to have a fighting chance of keeping the House. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think so too. Victor, let's go ahead and take a break and then come back with a little bit more on this war. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Bradley Devlin, and just like you, I'm a huge fan of Victor Davis Hanson. Whether it's his long-form podcast, Victor Davis Hanson in his own words, or his short-form content for the Daily Signal, Victor Davis Hanson in a few words, I always leave an episode learning something new.
I think they forgot the 1982 Falklands War.
And in the age of clickbait and rage bait, that's a really good feeling, right?
The media, thank you. You can leave now.
Well, if you agree, you might like my show, the Daily Signal's long-form interview podcast called The Signal Sit Down. Every week, we take you behind the scenes of the biggest battles in Washington, D.C. as they happen with some of the biggest names in politics. We explore big ideas, and we analyze the policymaking process from an unabashedly and unapologetically conservative perspective. And that's important now more than ever with the Trump administration back in office, because in 2024, you sent Washington a message it couldn't ignore. It's your government, and together, we're taking it back. So check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you enjoy Victor Davis Hanson, we're there too. And drop me a follow on X, @Bradley Devlin, to stay updated with what's happening on The Signal Sit Down.
Welcome back. This is Victor Davis Hanson in his own words. You can catch Victor on X. His handle is @VD Hanson, and on Facebook @Hanson's Morning Cup. So, Victor, I think that Donald Trump has the Iranian regime, their military, etc. He's got them all the way down, but he doesn't quite have the foot on the neck. What do you think are the possibilities for any negotiation?
I like Jack Keane. Is it David Bellavia, the Medal of Honor winner? he has dark humor. He said, "I'm going to really miss Bridge and Power Plant Day." He didn't mean it to be macabre. I think he meant it to say that that's the quickest way to end the threat. This came up with General Sherman. He, contrary to popular opinion, he did not attack everyday things. He skipped what was the poor and the middle class. He didn't go after people's homes or farms. He did target plantations. He burned them down. He stripped them of their infrastructure. He destroyed armories. He destroyed rail yards. And he really devastated the South. And he said, I'm going to make Georgia howl. And it worked, because he said in so many words, we're not going to sit here while the Army of the Potomac is losing 100,000 dead and wounded, by the rich people in Georgia and the Carolinas still have their slaves in plantation and are feeding that war. So that he inaugurated this idea that those were legitimate targets, and he championed the idea of the indirect approach. Everybody should be aware that there's two schools of military theory. I guess you would call it die on the vine. Say you have a toxic fruit, do you cut it off and get into the messy idea of it's messy, or you just go cut down the vine at the stump and kill all the other good fruit with it? And so the indirect approach, it was championed by the general.
Maybe President Trump will post something when it starts.
And rather than go fight the Spartan army, he said that the Spartiates, 10,000 of them, don't work. So they can train all day and achieve a level of superiority that is unmatched on the battlefield, except for Thebes eventually. But they get a lot of their food from the Messenian Helots. So he went over the Mount Taygetus Pass and freed them all and created this fortified city. And at that point, there weren't enough Helots left in Laconia to feed the army. So
Let me check a couple things for updates.
Become productive citizens, and that meant less
make sure I'm checking
war
things
training.
out.
But the idea was you want to save lives. So everybody said Trump is Sherman is a war criminal, but there's a great argument. Who's the war criminal? Neither one was, but if you're a Confederate, who is the war criminal? Ulysses S. Grant, who ground your army down and you lost 300,000 Confederate soldiers? Or William Tecumseh Sherman, that almost killed nobody on those marches? He didn't kill very many people at all. He fought one or two battles, and they were standstills. And the final one, he was successful, but he avoided battle, and he wanted to destroy the infrastructure, excuse me, especially the rail yard, so they couldn't transfer units.
Senator Collins supports and advocates
so by the
for
time Lee
war.
surrendered, he was under enormous pressure from the legislature of the Confederacy.
Any chance of them coming to a last-minute agreement? One of the viewers said, my guess is no.
We're starving.
I've heard nothing to suggest they're going to come to a last-minute agreement.
Please stop. And that's why they stopped. Lee was never defeated in the siege of Richmond. Grant was never able to break through and then physically put him on his knees and say surrender. He surrendered because this huge army was coming from the rear, Sherman, and more importantly, the people
you're about to get wondering, is it even possible to be this tired and still not sleep?
One of our viewers also said Lee stock happens.
No, I know.
If
if we can stay on this, I know that you and Jack spoke a little bit about the airman that was rescued, and I think that you guys obviously applauded it like everybody else who was
futures
smart
I
to
am
this
seeing
decision, not the Democrats and the Europeans.
I gotta stop.
Dow
right
futures
here.
down like almost
Are you
2%,
going
S&P
to
down 0.5%,
the
Nasdaq down
Candace
0.5%.
tweet?
Roughly. These
No,
are rough
but you
numbers.
could go ahead. I'm trying to
See if
remember.
we
I
have
did
some
read
more
what she
reporting
said.
about
It was
the
so
blockade.
stupid I couldn't keep
Well,
my
she
mind
left
on it.
off with the Mrs. Macron phallus conspiracy, the Charlie Kirk Mossad, the fake moon landing, and she basically said the whole thing was fake, and she said that
The CIA made it up.
yes, and they tried to rescue a general with a capital G, and I'm thinking, Candace, that's easily demonstrably false because he was a colonel. Where is the general that they rescue? Well, you'll say that they're going to produce the guy that they rescue. They just want to make sure his family's safe and he's well. He'll have a press conference. Then what are you going to say? He's not a general. But they take pictures of those wreckages of the two planes and all this, and they say it's just like the Carter rescue failure, and look at all the debt. They blew them up themselves. And if you doubt that,
any Iranian who fires at us or at peaceful vessels will be blown to hell. Iran knows better than anyone how to end this situation, which has already devastated their country. Their navy is gone, their air force is gone, their anti-aircraft and radar are useless. Khomeini, he probably meant to say Khamenei, and their leaders are dead, all because of their nuclear ambition. Their blockade, the blockade will begin shortly. Other countries will be involved with the blockade. Iran will not be allowed to profit of this illegal act of extortion. They want more, and they want money, and more importantly, they want nuclear. Additionally, and at an appropriate moment, we will fully be locked and loaded, and our military will finish up the little that is left of Iran. So that announcement is made. You look at oil prices right now, Rob, if you want to go to it real quick, just to kind of see where we are with it. As of right now, oil prices, maybe press a refresh. Is it live? 103.39. There you go, 103.39. It was at 105 in the morning. It went all the way up to 119. They're saying if this continues for another week or two, we could be looking at 140. Even if a little bit longer, we could be looking at 200. Which is pretty wild to be thinking about. And J.D. Vance himself was out there, I believe, trying to negotiate with Iran. He even said that it went for 21 hours, and I think in an interview.
So I'm abandoning everything.
About where this war is going, the eventual outcome, and what this potential next reset of how things are operated, especially in this region. But the president is doing this all over the world, whether it's in Western Europe, all over. And we're looking at the Middle East now, but it has always been a major trump card for Iran to play this right now and shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. It's really what has kept them in power for as long as they have been. This threat. Well, the Iranians completely miscalculated this. They played their one and only card, and now they're watching it shatter right before their eyes. For one, we look at just the state of oil production and where it's traveling right now after the closure of the strait. Well, what's happening within the Gulf kingdoms is they're just looking at ways to diversify. They already wanted to do this on diversify how they get their oil out of the country, but what Iran has forced them into doing is accelerating these plans. You look at the Saudis. The Saudis have what they call the East-West pipeline. They are now running that at almost top capacity, redirecting vast amounts of their oil production across the country, and it exits out the Red Sea. UAE is doing the same thing. They're looking at alternate ways. They are doing that right now. About 30%, roughly 30% of the oil is completely bypassing the Strait of Hormuz, not even going out of tankers. And there's other countries like Kuwait, Bahrain that are looking into doing the same thing. And this is just accelerating that entire process. And you spoke about the tankers. I wish I could pull up maybe I can. I don't know this map right now. The map. There it is right there. Look at that. These are all the tankers that are saying, okay, screw it. We are now headed, from all directions, they are now headed towards the Gulf Coast of the United States. It is wild.
I can't see it from where I am. Jason, are there can you see the actual U-turns on some of these?
Can't see the U-turns. You probably could if you were watching it live, but yeah, they're going around the Horn of Africa all the way to, I mean, it is just insane what this has accelerated. And that's what it has done. It has accelerated. Where this goes from here, I think Iran is looking at this as saying, pretty much the jig is up. Pretty much the jig is up. Not only are they losing, in the future, as far as what they have as far as options are to keep their regime alive, but they're also losing daily about roughly a little over $200 million as soon as this embargo happens, which is in about 30 minutes. Over $200 million a day to keep them afloat.
Remember the Mogadishu.
It's pretty remarkable what is happening. I want to give you the numbers. I mean, look, I can give you an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. We don't have enough facts. I can give you an opinion, but I want to really leave you with the facts of the day. We've given you some facts. Let me go to another expert who's got even more facts to back this up, that This is not a loss here.
Retrieval of the bodies back
This
to the
is
United States to
actually
flight in.
working quite
they do
well.
that all
Would
the
it have been
time.
nice to
They
have,
do
a
that.
peace deal?
We hope they never
Yes,
get
if they
back
would have
into
given
power
in to all
and do
those
it
demands,
again, 'cause
but
I
they're
think
not
they
going to.
would do it
So,
again. But Victor, before
is
we
this
go
working?
on, let's
Next.
welcome back
First,
a
let me tell you
sponsor,
about Preborn.
Allegiance Gold.
There is no milk.
If you
There's no
studied
photo
enough
on a milk
history, you
carton.
start to
There's no headlines with a name in it. There's no search party combing the woods, and yet a life is missing because of an abortion. Abortion was had in fear, without hope, without fully realizing there was another way. So often that decision is about the lack of truth, lack of somebody stepping in and saying, wait, you're not alone. You're not. There is a way.
Iran.
This is why Preborn
It's not
exists.
good
They
for
provide
Iran
free
after
ultrasound
21
so mom
hours
can hear
of
her
a
baby and
negotiation
hear
that
that
they had
heartbeat,
about the
and
blockade.
then they stay
And
with her.
the
They
president
stay with
came
her
out
through
and
the
said
pregnancy.
something. Hopefully
Up
we'll
to
find the
2
clip to show
years
you.
after her
But he
child's
came
birth,
out and
offering
said,
real support, sharing the hope of the gospel,
is
sharing
this one, Rob?
anything
Yes,
from
one of
clothes
them.
to
Go for
food to books and actual one-on-one help to help raise the child. It's amazing. Now, Preborn has a goal of 11,000 gospel conversations in a Preborn network clinic this month, trusting God to bring increase as they remain faithful to speak. So you can make that possible.
He takes out
Sponsor
Soleimani.
an ultrasound
By the way,
right now.
took out
Just
ISIS.
$28
Where are they
will
these
provide
days?
one
He
ultrasound
was
for a
in
mom
the
in need.
12-day war,
145 moms.
the bombing of the nuclear facilities.
Preborn.com/back.
He did a Muslim
Preborn.com.
ban. And all of a
Pound
sudden
250,
people are
say
like,
the keyword
dude, where'd
baby.
this come
Pound
from?
250 keyword baby.
I
A
thought
lot
you
more
didn't
coming
want
up
any
in
new
just a
wars with
second.
Iran.
Stand
I view
by
it this
and
way.
grab it all.
Trump's not starting a new war. He's ending a war with Iran.
Welcome back to the
and we've been at
Torch
war for
Insider
47
Show.
years.
I have
Now let's
a
talk
lot
about
of
the Strait of
comments from
Hormuz.
you going in and
This
out
is
of
all
what we're just
Iran's
talking
got
about
left.
right now on the live
We've taken
show
out
with
their
Glenn.
military. We've taken out
also
their navy.
have
Do they even have an
way
air
too
force?
many stories
Do
to
they
talk
even
to you
have
about today.
defensive
A lot of
missile
congressional
capabilities?
updates.
Defensive. They're making
just a slew
themselves
of other
enemies
things. I
of
wanna
all
show
their
you
neighbors.
some of
They're a
those
social
maps
pariah.
that I was just
And
talking to
all
Glenn
they got
about to
left
provide some
is
important
the Strait of
context
Hormuz. So it's an
on
economic
what we're looking
war
at
over
moving
oil.
forward.
So I'll
But I
ask you
wanna
this.
put
Remember the
this
famous
up
situation
really
where
quick.
Trump
this
and
is
J.D. Vance were in the Oval
this
Office
was done
and they
by
were
the
dressing
Institute for
down
Study of
Zelensky?
War.
He said, you don't have the cards.
And because one of the
You don't
first
have the
stories I
cards.
saw over the weekend
Now Iran
was
jokingly
that,
goes, yeah, well, we have a strait.
we were sending U.S.
Strait of
Navy
Hormuz.
ships
And
very
Trump's
close
using
to
this
the Strait of
blockade. It's
Hormuz
like, oh, really?
for the first
Nice
time
strait.
in this war.
Boom.
And a lot of
Here's
people
a royal
were
flush.
criticizing
I'm
that
going to
move.
blockade your
A lot of
blockade.
people are
You think
operating
you're
on the
crazy? I'm
assumption
crazier
that
than you.
the
bottom line is
IRGC
this.
and the Iranian military can actually threaten those ships.
Does your construction company's
They
hiring
so far
process
have
look a
not.
lot like
But
this?
what
You
we're
watch
doing
a lot
right
of
now
DIY
is sending in some of those naval vessels
I wanna show you
and
two things. Rob,
mine
if you want
clearing
them,
abilities that we have. That's
And the Iranians
mine clearers are
bridge the gap
usually
and get to a deal.
helicopters that drop
We've been at it
mine
now
clearing
for
devices
21
down into
hours.
the water. Also
And,
drones. There's multiple different
we've had a
drones
number
that the
of
U.S. Navy
substantive
employs
discussions with the
to seek
Iranians.
out
That's the
and
good
destroy
news. The
the
bad
mines
news
that
is
are
that
in
we
the
have
area.
not reached
But I
an
want to show you
agreement.
this done by
I
the
think it's
Institute
bad
for
news
Study
for
of War.
Iran, much more than it's bad
This
news for
path
the United
right
States
here
of America.
was
So
how
we go back to the United States
the
having
threats
not come
from
to an
Iran's
agreement.
mines
We've
and
made
their
it very
ships.
clear what our
This
red
is how
lines
they
are,
were
what
routing
things we're willing to accommodate them
oil
on, and
traffic.
what things
So this is how they
we're
would
not
leave.
willing to
This is
accommodate
how
them on.
they would enter
And
into it.
we've made
Now
that
it was
as
done
clear
very
as we
specific, and
possibly
this area
could,
right here
and they have
was
chosen
the
not to
hazardous
accept
area. This
our
is
terms.
where Iran was
so you hear
threatening
that.
vessels,
Wait, you
saying
hear
if you
that
go
right
through
there.
there,
Then you
your
see
ship's
the
going to get
president
sunk,
coming out.
basically. And
And
what
speaking
we're
of
doing
Mario
now
Bartiromo,
is
and
getting
this is what
rid
he says
of
to
the
him, on
threats
what
in
he
this
wants
area
now
so
from
that
them.
the
They
oil
come back
tankers
and
can
they
go
give
in and
us
out of the strait
everything we want.
unimpeded.
And I
Now,
tell
it
my
was
people,
done
I
very
want everything.
specifically
I don't want 90%.
by Iran to
I don't
channel
want
them over
95%.
here around these
I
islands.
told them, I
That's
want
how they were
everything.
collecting the tolls. That's how they were ensuring
so
the
now
tolls
here's
were
the
getting
thing. I
paid,
think one
and
of the
no
things
ship
the
was
president
getting
did
in or out
by
without
sending J.D. Vance
basically
out, I actually
liaising
like
with
that
the
a lot,
Iranians
I'll
and
tell you
setting
why,
up that
because
toll system. That's what they've been
Rubio
doing this
went out
entire
there
time, is setting up that toll
negotiating
system.
on this.
So what we're
Rubio people would
effectively
say
doing
he's an
now is
interventionist,
denying
but
that
if
toll
J.D.
system.
Vance goes out there
But
negotiating
let me check,
as a
let me
guy
show you this.
whose
This is that map
position
that I
is
showed
probably
earlier. I think someone
a
asked for a link to this. I'll put
non-interventionist,
this
more
link
like
in
an
the chat here in a second.
isolationist, because the
But
ties
this is
of
that
names
map map
like
that was
Tulsi
going
being
around
tied
over
to
the weekend.
JD,
These are
Joe
all
Kemp being tied to
the
JD,
tankers
a lot of
that
Tucker Carlson's son, Ben,
normally would be going straight into here, going into the Straits of Hormuz,
Buckley,
are now saying
Carlson
forget
being
it.
tied to JD,
Now they're all
JD.
headed to the United States. I saw a
these are all good
comment
things that
earlier.
the
Well, I'll
president
get to
did
that
of
comment
sending
here in a
JD
second
Vance out
about
there
if
because
the United States
the
can
world is now
actually
saying, well,
keep
guess
up
what?
with that demand.
Rubio,
We'll get to that
JD,
in a
and
second.
Trump are all on the same
This
page
is
when
a
it comes
map
out to Iran.
that
You
shows
can say whatever you want. Those three are
some
now
of the
same
alternative
page. So,
pipelines that are in the Middle
the average
East.
person would
Now,
have
the big
probably
one
thought
from
the
the
better
Saudis
person to
is
send
this
to negotiate
east-west
here would have been
pipeline.
who? Rubio.
This was not a
Rubio and Whitcock.
major priority to get running before the war.
Why did he send
Now
JD?
it has become a
I
major
think
priority,
it's a
obviously,
great,
so the Saudis can
absolute
get their oil
great
out. But
move
they are completely
that he sent
bypassing the
JD
Strait of
instead.
Hormuz.
And by the way,
There's other
here's the thing that we're
countries
going to realize
in
as
the
well.
area
You
that
know,
are also
this
looking
is a
to
little
either
bit
tie
tough
in
because
to some of the
you know,
pipelines
like,
going through Saudi Arabia
people
or
say
other
things to me, they'll say,
alternative.
well, you know, why don't you send me? Why don't you send me? You know, when we're doing certain negotiations, and I'll say, look, if I send Tom, here's what Tom's going to do. Tom's going to close. The deal's going to get done. We're going to make progress. If I send you, will you close? If you don't close, Vinny, then I'm not sending you. But we got to send somebody that's going to go close the deal without you being there. So the pressure's also on who? The pressure's also on JD to close. Because right now, what are a lot of people saying? You saw the criticism that's going viral right now. What is the criticism? Did you see it about JD? I don't know if you guys saw this morning or not.
He doesn't have the cloud. He can't close the deal. What are they
Anything
saying about
he
him?
touches, it doesn't turn to gold. What people are saying.
Like he's the Drake of politics.
Like they're saying, hey, well, I'm telling you what the Twitter, the criticism is saying. You know, JD's approval rating has fallen 21 points from January of 2025, a +3 to -18 today. So he has to rebuild his credibility because he went to help out Orban. Orban didn't work out. He went to negotiate. So this is also a way of saying, hey, you want to go be a president? Show up. Do you know how to negotiate in these high, intense, high pressure type of situations? We're going to see what he's going to do as well. I'm confident that he's got the skill set to be able to do that as well. He's fairly poised. He showed up in a debate with when he was going up against Tim Walz. So I think he has that diplomacy in himself as well. But you got to close. You have to close the deal. So will others be threatened by what he's saying? We don't know. We're about to find out. Vinny.
Well, Pat, and I'll give you credit where credit's due. When we were in the van coming back, this just broke, and this was one of the first things that you said, is that they know that they're sending a guy that doesn't want war, that was distancing himself. Trump was in, they quoted him, I don't know if it was New York Times or Wall Street Journal, where they said, the president said J.D. Vance was, then they put in quotes, less enthusiastic about the war. And by the way, so this looks like a dead end. If you want, from a strategic point of view, Tommy, you want to send a guy that has to now get his hands dirty, because this trip, to me, was about watching, documenting, and letting Iran show in real time that there was no real path forward. And I believe they kind of already knew that going in. Once the optics were locked in, the moral high ground was established, and whatever comes next can now be framed as the only remaining option. And Pat, it made me look at the book, The Art of War, and Sun Tzu wrote, all warfare is based on deception, which basically the lesson is, when conflict is unavoidable, let your enemy prove peace was never possible. Then when force follows, it no longer looks like aggression, it looks inevitable. So I think this was a gangster move by sending him now, because Adam, now, guess what? Come 2028, when he's going to start to distance himself, they go, whoa, you were there. You saw it. Iran's not trying to freaking negotiate at all, so you're in it with us. So now it levels the playing field.
Now, let me tell you what Iran has said to this. Iran says it'll keep obstructing Hormuz until U.S. agrees to a deal. Iran has found the leverage that they have, which is the Strait of Hormuz. Here's what Iran said. Iran will keep passage through Strait of Hormuz hampered until it gets an acceptable offer from the U.S., according to statements carried by Tanim and Fars news agencies affiliated with Iran's security services. Here's a quote. Iran is not in a hurry. Until the U.S. agrees to a reasonable deal, there will be no change in the situation of the Strait of Hormuz, is what they said. And on top of that, they threaten. Is this a video of the threats, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and play this clip. Go for it.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, the naval and aerospace forces of the Revolutionary Guard since dawn today, in the 99th wave of Operation True Promise 4, with the holy code Ya Fatima al-Zahra, peace be upon her, in response to the enemy's crimes, and attacking the country's infrastructure, have targeted American bases and interests in the region, as well as command centers and Zionist military gatherings in the occupied territories, with ballistic and cruise missiles and offensive drones. In the first phase of the attacks, the largest petrochemical complex belonging to American company Sadara...
Somebody's just reading some articles, interesting, kind of off base a little bit. We always have different classes going. Somebody was talking about Tanzania and the history there. Yeah, so I've heard a lot about that over the years, just based on my own research and stuff I've read and heard from others and people that work with Doctors Without Borders and healthcare workers and other things like that. yeah, over the years there was concerns about a vaccine contamination. Yeah, and the polio stuff was spreading, causing paralysis. So they were trying to cover that up, yeah. Saying, no, it's not a contaminated vaccine. It's just in the lower vaccinated areas where they're, sicker, right, or whatever it is. Yeah, just the sicker ones. Yeah, so that was back before COVID. That was before COVID, yes. Yeah, they were, Tanzania, it was recently reporting cases, this was recently back then, of circulating vaccine-derived polio virus. Right, and they were trying to cover that stuff up. Trying to say it wasn't from the vaccine, which we've talked about this before. It's insane, really. Yeah, they try to say, this is because it's in the under-vaccinated communities and contaminated water and this and that. And it's the same old, no matter where you go. Right, and then has the integration of clean wells and water, refrigeration, proper cooking techniques, cleanliness is next to godliness, the age-old teachings. Some believe those are the original teachings, of God, those basic caring for the self, earth, air. It all kind of goes hand in hand. Right, so they were trying to cover that stuff up, and then let's see, hold on, where was that one? Oh, yeah, that's what you wanted to mention. When the COVID vaccine came out, because of the history and them having concerns about vaccines, this has been going on for decades, and people having concerns about it and it causing more illness than helping. Right, and then, of course, the CDC and others ignoring that, don't listen to them, they're charlatans, they're going to kill people, make you sick. Right, and that they almost have to be vaccinated if they want to get the help. And they want to get the funding to get the clean water and housing and all that. You better get vaccinated or they're not going to help you. That's a requirement. Right. So, Tanzania, I remember back they were trying to say, no thank you to the COVID vaccine. And what happened? Yeah, I think they talked to them and kind of told them, you better okay it, because if people die, you're going to be held responsible. You don't want that on your head. I'm telling you, that's exactly what happened. Tell me I'm lying. For real, that's exactly what happened. In 2021, he reversed the policy, officially recognized the pandemic, and implemented the national vaccine program. Yeah, they probably told them, you better do that, because if shit happens, and this is real, it's real. Look, everyone else is getting vaccinated. Look at them all. I know, they were showing people get up on stage. I can do it. Like, everybody's doing it. People are getting fired, shut down. Airlines are getting shut down. You better. Right, so I mean, probably against their own personal beliefs as to what they felt made sense. Can you imagine, you're being plagued with these important decisions, and when you know in your heart of hearts something ain't right and don't make sense, and you have these psychos just pushing it, and you better, or else, mister. Right, it's insane, it's sad, and it's scary, especially when you know the truth and what's been going on for quite a while. But yeah, that's an interesting one with the whole Tanzania thing. Did I cover all of that okay? I know you had a lot in there. I wasn't really paying the closest attention. I'm reading a few other articles too. We got couple things in our ears.
Chemical complex of the American company Chevron Phillips, based in Al Juaima, Saudi Arabia, were effectively targeted with medium-range missiles and offensive drones. Additionally, more than 30 locations in Rishon LeZion and Petah Tikva in the center, and Beersheba, Dimona, Arad, Kiryat Gat, and
Iran threatens to attack U.S. Navy ships into the Strait of Hormuz after first American vessels moved over the channel.
He was it Trump? Whose decision was it?
This is Anthony Poinkin. But nonetheless, the Australians have
at various points try to convince the Obama administration, the Biden administration to do things like this. To my knowledge, he's tried to convince virtually every administration since he's been in office to do what President Trump finally did. He came to the Obama administration and tried this. He came to the Biden administration and tried this. And he finally found a willing customer in President Trump. But this was President Trump's decision. This wasn't Bibi Netanyahu's decision. It was President Trump's decision. Look, it's not that previous administrations, whether it was...
There's President, you have to admit though, it's 1,000% President Trump's decision. But you cannot sit here and pretend that Bibi Netanyahu doesn't have major influence. Jared Kushner has known him since he was a child. His father in New Jersey used to go visit him, Bibi, in Jersey. He's over there negotiating. That's a conflict of interest, number one. Number two, we can't pretend, Adam, everything was Iran. And then Israel went on full-on seizing land and attacking in Lebanon, and mind you, Adam, in heavily populated civilian and Christian parts of Lebanon, and they're literally seizing land, and it's looking now, because Adam, who's to stop them from going, well, there's terrorists here, bomb them. Who's checking to see how many civilians are dying in Lebanon? Where's the, because if you, all you have to say is this, there's terrorists there. You could literally keep bombing, keep expanding until you've taken over as much land as you want. Obviously, I want Hezbollah taken out. Obviously, I want Hamas done. Obviously, I want ISIS done, which Trump basically did. But if you've been seeing, like I've been seeing, literally in the downtown area, you want to talk about Miami? I'm out in Miami, a whole apartment complex with civilians coming all the way down.
Everybody wants to have some sort of work to quality of life balance. I feel like Mark Vision's that second or third shift that's working.
What is this clip, Rob?
Yeah, this was the strikes last week in Lebanon.
Yeah, that's okay. You want to kill one terrorist, so you do that. Let's just say there's one Hezbollah guy in there.
Why would you say there's only one?
I'm just saying, how many terrorists?
Take out that building.
Because are you telling me? You have reports? So I don't know. Because there's Sky News.
Yeah, let me respond real quickly. 30 seconds ago, you didn't even know that Hezbollah was based in Lebanon.
I didn't say based. I said they were. I didn't say that. I said they're everywhere.
No, they're not. They're in Lebanon, period, full stop. You might say there's one guy who has a cousin who's hanging out in a different part of town. Hezbollah's in Lebanon, and this is exactly what it is. You just said, obviously, we want to take out Hezbollah.
Yeah. So kill how many civilians for one terrorist?
How do you assume that they do that?
Okay, very sad.
I don't, how do you, because I saw what they did in Gaza, and dude, Gaza is flat. It's flat. So they killed almost 30.
Vinny, you gotta pick a side here.
No, don't play that game with me. Do not, hold on. Do not
either want to take out terrorists, or you don't.
Time out. Do not play the pick a side, Adam, when it comes to 25,000 or 20,000 children dead. Don't play that game with me, because if terrorists were in this location, Israel should have done.
Slow down. No. What do you mean?
I don't know this game. Adam, if you show Gaza right now, and I don't even want him to show it, look at what Gaza looks like. Was there Hamas everywhere? Because it's flat. Okay.
By the way, the whole children, I know we don't want to talk about this, the whole children dead. Why are children dead?
Think about that. Because they didn't, because when you go caution to the wind and you don't do a ground invasion, go in the tunnels and go at everybody, you could just carpet bomb everybody and just say, well, there's terrorists. That's not fair.
Question, follow up. Where are these children hanging out?
What do you mean, Adam? They live there. They live there.
Are they by themselves? They're hanging out?
With their bosses.
Oh, they're with their parents.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So they're with their parents, who are basically part of Hamas.
So yes, parents, is that your argument? Is that all these kids that died, these innocent children, their parents are Hamas? Are you serious?
I feel like we're going back 2 years to have an argument.
Let's move on.
Let's not move on. Let's stay right here. Hamas is embedded in society.
So kill everybody is your thing. Just why they take so long? They should have
kill everybody. If they wanted to kill everybody, there'd be a million people dead right now. You have to understand. If they wanted to kill everybody, which they don't, a real genocide, there'd be a million people dead in Gaza. Do you know that? The fact that they're talking about only 60,000, half of which are Hamas, half of which are civilians, is a testament to the fact that they don't want to kill everyone. America killed how many people in Iraq? How many people in Afghanistan?
And it was all wrong.
And I never heard the word genocide once.
What do you mean? I left the military because of what we did in Iraq. Vincent Oshana, left because of 9/11 in Iraq.
Let me get to this next story. Here's a
I don't understand your point.
Of all the countries given their heroic
Adam,
what point? Tell me the point. They were completely welching on their NATO countries.
And your point is
what? My point is, I'm saying from a tactical point of view, the way that they handled Gaza,
respectfully,
let him ask
and we don't like what the United States is doing. But
what happened, Tom?
they call it,
I thought you were asking him to explain this.
We're under your missile shield, and we want to make
Bottom
sure
line is
that if we go to, you're
whether
going to
you
be
like it
supporting
or not,
us.
the world,
That's what they do.
specifically the Middle East, has
The
one
rhetoric
major
is
problem,
different,
brother. You know what that
yes.
is?
no Christ,
Canada
no Jesus
are
Christ.
not the nation.
No, it's the
And
truth.
they're gonna be
No
there
Christianity.
under Democratic
None of this would be happening if they were all believers in Christ.
Sure, great,
They,
gotcha.
like
But they
Europe
believe
and
in
the
radical
Australia
Islam.
have
So you just went to
pursued
Christ.
this
They believe in
left-wing
Allah.
version of Western
And they believe that they're going to
civilization,
reach
and
paradise.
It leads nowhere.
They kill
It leads to
and maim and convert
doomsday
people or die.
fertility, a shrinking
So you're going to have a
aging
choice
population,
of whether you're going to say,
open borders and
I really don't like to see
unassimilated
innocent people die.
from
Nobody wants that.
antithetical
Or I'm going to let
cultures.
the radicals take over.
It leads to
I'm
completely
fully on the point of we're not letting them take over.
So
You're kind of still straddling the middle, respectfully. Well, we got to take them out. We can't kill innocent people. That's a problem. We need Christ. Buddy, at some point you're going to have to realize this is the problem. Israel and the United States is addressing the problem.
You think Israel's the problem?
No. I think tactically, the way they're doing missions is not. For instance, is it okay if you want to kill 2 terrorists? Are you okay with them taking down an entire apartment complex that people are living in? I don't think. I think tactically, sending your ground troops, Mossad is still the IDF and all them. They don't want to get involved on the ground, which I think you'll save civilians.
Oversimplifying.
No, I think put some troops in there. Throw some troops on the ground. Don't fight the war. Don't just carpet bomb.
By the way, I'm defending America here, but I just feel like giving you some facts, brother. How many people
But if you want it, go to it. And I will just
There's 350 million people in America. 350 million. There's a billion plus in Iran, in India. There's a billion plus in China. How many people do you think live in Israel? What's your number?
When they start to
5
probe
million?
their
5 million?
post-colonial
10 million people.
possessions?
That's the size of a city in America.
Has a bigger area
I know
than the
people in the
United
IDF.
States.
You think
And
they
they've
want
always
to
said
get
it's
war?
too cold. I mean,
How many tours have you
Well,
done?
not in the age of
Just in the air. Okay, so you weren't even a tour. I know people on their 5th tour, 7th tour. They've been in Lebanon. They've been in Gaza. They've been flying to Iran. They don't have enough people. The whole conversation about sending boots to Iran, they don't have enough people. You know the famous situation with Joe Rogan? He goes, how many Jews do you think there are in the world?
I think they have 10
He goes,
times as many
billion.
icebreakers as Canada does.
He goes, let me lower my expectations.
Well, Victor,
Half a
let's go
billion
ahead and
people.
take a break.
I think it was
maybe talk a little bit more about the
got sad that said
Iranians in the United States, as you've.
Oh, there's about 5 million that live in the United States, 10 million that live in Israel.
We'll be right back
There's
after
not
these
that many of
messages.
them. And 20% of Israel are Arabs that are citizens that fight also in the idea. So this whole concept of a boots on the ground where you think all these people are going to be able to work, they don't have the numbers. That's just the bottom line. And you have these 10 million people, which very few, less than half a million, are actually serving, that are fighting war after war after war after war. And we're saying, do more. They're to their last leg. And America comes in as a capable ally to Israel in the Middle
Let me
East
get to this next story.
to defeat Islamic
All right,
terrorism.
Trump warns China will have
to
big problems
Victor
if
Davis
it ships
in his
weapons
own
to
words.
Iran,
So
but
Victor, as you were
insists he
mentioning, there's
doesn't
a lot
care
of the
about
leadership
peace
in
talks
Iran
as
since their,
as we win regardless. Go ahead, Rob.
etc. over here, and we've seen some of these daughters. And many of you
Well, if China does that, China's going to have big problems, okay?
Salacious.
Yeah. So when you see this story, now he's also saying he doesn't care There's another clip because of that clip, Rob, that you just played. There's a few of them that he goes a little bit deeper into. Trump warned, obviously, China. The president caution comes after several news outlets have reported that China is preparing to send air defense systems to Tehran in the coming weeks. If China does that, China is going to have big problems. U.S. intelligence sources told New York Times and CNN that Beijing is shipping shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missile systems known as MANPADS through third countries to mask their origins. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in China in Washington denied the accusations in a statement to CNN. China has never provided weapons to any party to the conflict. The information in question is untrue, the spokesperson said. It comes as peace talks between U.S. and Iran began in Pakistan's capital city, Islamabad, on Saturday. Trump acknowledged very deep negotiations, but told Reuters no matter what happens during the talks, the United States has already won. Regardless of what happens, we win. We totally defeated that country. And so let's see what happens. Maybe they make a deal. Maybe they don't. From the standpoint of America, we win regardless, Tom.
So, there's two ways to ship a weapon. One is finish a missile, a bullet, a gun, and send it to the guys. Iran-Contras, right? Just send them the guns, drop them off. The other way is you send raw materials that are critical. And what I was reading over the weekend, Pat, is that the U.S. and the UK are now, and I think it was CIA found it, and MI6 confirmed it. That was what I read. About a chemical called ammonium perchlorate or sodium perchlorate, which is key rocket fuel.
Get over $2,500 in savings when you install new high-efficiency propane equipment with Dead River Company. Plus, get 3-year low fixed propane pricing and expert support from people you can count on. Get a free estimate at deadriver.com.
QuickMD connects patients with a doctor online for opioid use disorder. Start medication-assisted treatment backed by science. No judgment, no stigma, and no insurance is required. Take control and talk to a doctor today at quick.md.
Decadent
system that they had. Did they have the best one? Don't know. And so China was reportedly also providing that system to Iran, and also now they're shipping chemicals that are used to make the propellant, the fuel for rockets. And so China's definitely in this, and I think the president said what's going on. If they're really doing this, they're going to be in big trouble. But just remember, you don't have to ship the guns. Sometimes you can ship the powder, and this is terrible. This stuff this allows them to make the rockets.
How long do you think he does? How long do you think? Because it's almost a given. They're both kind of helping, like on the low, till he does something, or like it's out in the open where he's gonna actually act on China or Russia. Because I haven't heard anything from them. Like these are the little stories that pop up, and you know China's doing it. How long do you think till Trump? Because he looks serious right there when he's talking about if they're doing it, it's gonna be bad for them.
Do you actually think they're providing weapons to Iran?
I think they're on the.
What is your percentage of them providing weapons?
I'm 100% that they're providing these chemicals. We've found it. The MI6, CIA apparently found it. Now we have all kinds of articles on it. So it's 100% that they're sending rocket fuel.
Right.
Number one. Number two, are they? I'm probably around 80% that they're sending, the anti-aircraft and radar systems, because it's easy, and that's what they were supplying to Venezuela. So why wouldn't supply there? Anything beyond that, I'm only about 25% because I think that's like a red line. And do you think China wants to cross that red line? But if you're sending, I'm lower on the actual missile bullet bomb.
But if you're sending the fuel to launch these rockets or the missiles, it's almost like like the loading the gun thing. You're putting the gunpowder in the bullet to shoot the guy.
I didn't say the cannon.
Yeah, but that's still. But if I find out that you're sending them the gunpowder and they're shooting my, that's a whole different situation. You're still actively involved in killing people. So they can play that little game. But what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, look, Humberto just sent a message. The whole 90% of the oil that China is getting is from Iran. So who is a bigger partner? How do you manage the two partners? One is giving you oil. The other one, you sell a bunch of products to. Your number one customer is America. That you make hundreds of billions of dollars of exporting. And so do I want to compromise that relationship with U.S., but do I feel confidently in my ability to low-key underground get stuff to Iran without anybody finding out? Don't forget when the Huawei's founder's daughter, who was the CFO, was in Canada doing deals with Iran, and Trump put 100% sanction on Huawei, and Huawei disappeared. A lot of people used to have Huawei phones in America. So they are shifty. The Chinese are shifty on how to get in and how to deliver something to. I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it, but if they do, and they're in the middle of all these negotiations, I don't know if the smart move by their end at all.
Two things are going on here. Number one, China looks at Iran as one thing, a transactional partner. They're using them for oil. They've basically been evading sanctions, Iran, by basically selling discounted oil to China. They got 1 billion and something people that they got to have energy for. They're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. You think it affects Iran? It affects China too. It affects Southeast Asia. It affects half the Middle East. We don't rely on the Strait of Hormuz. So China's looking at the situation in Iran being like, oh man, we're losing our oil. Oil prices going up. Who knows what deal they're cutting with Russia? I'm sorry, regarding oil. By the way, wasn't Trump and Xi supposed to meet coming up?
They were supposed to meet in March.
They're supposed to meet in March, but they didn't. Why?
No, he said they're going to delay to May.
Why? Because of this war. So now Trump is using the Strait of Hormuz as leverage, saying, before I even come speak to you,
because of tariffs, it was a couple things.
Of course,
kind of going on.
But the center point, the linchpin, was what's going on in Iran. So now you have China basically saying, how do I literally fuel my economy? I have 1 billion plus people that I got to take care of. They got their own issues. For years we've been hearing China's on the rise. There's only one country that's on the rise, and it's the hottest country in the world right now, the United States.
You know who's been the best people? I'm not talking about everybody.
That was it. That's all I got.
Well, let's go to Orban.
Back up a second. Do you want me to keep talking?
No, I don't want to say.
You want me to keep going?
Good job.
What's my point? I wrapped it up. I love that.
Orban era swept away by Peter Magyar's Hungary election landslide. Alex Soros celebrating, Hillary Clinton celebrating, Obama celebrating, a bunch of them celebrating. Last minute, Putin came to help, Bibi came to help, Trump came to help Orban, JD went to help. None of them worked. Orban ended up losing. And there's a lot to it, Rob. I think you got a video on this one here. 16 years in power. And this is a BBC story. A system condemned by electoral autocracy. Lies and tatters, defeated by a 45-year-old former party insider who convinced the majority of Hungarians to bring it to the end. We did it, Peter said, told the crowd of cheering supporters beside the river Danube overlooking Budapest's magnificent parliament on the other side. Together we overthrew the Hungarian regime. Is this it, Rob?
This is Viktor Orban last night conceded.
Preliminary election results based on more than 98% of country voted, counted votes, put his TISA party on course for an extraordinary 138 seats versus Orban's 55. And the far right, our homeland, on 6. The landslide will not only allow Magyar to overthrow Orban's increasingly unpopular domestic policy, but reset Hungary's global relation. Orban has been a close partner of President Trump, earning an in-person appearance from the JD Vance. That's what I said in the final week of the campaign. And Russia's Vladimir Putin, and he had become one of the big thorns in the inside of EU and Ukraine. Here's Viktor Orban conceding. Go ahead, Rob.
The election results, although not yet complete, are understandable and clear. The election result is painful for us, but clear. The responsibility and opportunity to govern were not given to us. I congratulated the winning party. Thank you for all your hard work.
They're tired of 10,000 people coming across the border a day.
So Orban was trying to do two things. Hungary and California were very similar. It's not very big, but it was full of corruption. All kinds of problems going on. And Orban's been trying to make good relationships internationally, such as Trump, such as Putin. It's sort of interesting, and he was the one guy you saw on the end of his campaign, both Putin and Trump were saying, I hope this guy wins. Meanwhile, everybody else on the liberal globalist side say no. So Orban people that are there said, no, he was a continuation of the corruption. He was trying to fix things domestically, and he did some things domestically that were really unpopular. And then he was trying to be a peacemaker and do things, on the world stage. People say, how can you call him a peacemaker? Right, okay. Well, the answer is Hungary is California. And this guy was actually trying to correct part of it. He was part of it because he had kind of, his political career come up through it. And now you had an opportunity for a conservative-minded guy in Hungary, in the middle of the war and the economy and everything. The people said no. Not by a landslide, but the people said no. And so that's what's going on. And this is why, and guess what? Now Soros is happy, Hillary's happy, Obama's happy, all of them, I say happy, because all of them have put out statements of support. Meanwhile, the more conservative side of Earth is coming out and saying, man, this sucks. I thought there was an opportunity to turn the corner on Hungary. But you know what? The Hungarian people are fed up, and what the vote was in Hungary, you know what it was, Pat? Was anything but this. And when voters do that, sometimes you get unintended consequences in elections, and that's what's happening.
On Rumble.
Yeah, so if you go, by the way, if you...
2 p.m. still works great. We'll put our best guy on the job.
You said you were the best guy.
Also the sales guy.
You should check out Capitus and get a fast business loan and hire some help. Stop waiting, start growing. Get the funding you need at Capitus.com.
Nephews and my son were taken by my cousin.
Sour Patch Kids Fruit Riot. Nature's candy just got candier.
Yelling to my nephews and my son, come back.
That's a handle that's called I Find Retards. That's the job of that Twitter account. So, Vinny, your thoughts on this? Basically, they found one, and I just hope that Americans are paying attention. When Alex Soros, name one thing that name has done positive. Give me one George Soros positive thing. They're destroyers. Okay, and I hope this sets off alarms. Just think about it. They just took Hungary, one of the most Christians, the last Christian stronghold in Europe. 16 years, they resisted the migrant flood. They resisted Alex and Daddy George, and that slow, that national security. Now it's basically the walls have been breached. The people behind the push are not even pretending to hide it. And this is a red-green alliance. Global Marxists on one side, and the Islamic pressure is on the other side, and they're both moving in the same direction. And this is a warning shot. Europe is already cooked, and this is what happens when countries stop defending themselves. The leadership falls, the demographic shift, everybody's welcome. Bring everybody in, we don't care. We don't care. Crime rises, faith disappears, and the people who built the country are told to shut up and adapt. And I'm telling you right now, it's coming here. We're the main prize. America is a crown jewel. Look at every single uprising that we've had. BLM, this, burning the street, everything, all these judges, everything is so, every time you link it back to these NGOs and everything, it always leads to the Soros Foundation or something with George Soros, okay? And they're not even hiding it anymore. So I hope people are waking up, because once a country loses its identity back, getting it back is way harder than getting it in the first place. And they're not hiding it. Anytime Alex Soros, Hillary Clinton, and they're celebrating about something happening over there, it's a bad sign. Period.
They have relatives and friends that were butchered.
10 million people over there. There's 10 million people in Hungary. And they're all flipping out, and you have this conservative opportunity there, and now you've got Soros in there interfering with it, and he has a little bit of a bone to pick with Hungary over time, right? Of course, a little bit of a bone to pick, because they called him out and they knew who he was, and he couldn't even go visit what was his country of birth, right?
He's banned in so many countries.
He's banned! What does that tell you? So he's back there trying to manipulate it, because every one of these, you have to understand, the globalist, populist, and communist movement see every one of these countries like a state. There's 10 million people there. There's like almost 3 times that in Florida. So think about it. This is like, I don't know what U.S. state has 10 million people in it. I don't know, Missouri or something. So this is what they've got. And so they're out there trying to do it. And that's it.
Go, Adam. Any final thoughts?
I'm not the Hungary expert. I'll just say this. Orban was an extreme nationalist. Hungry first. This other candidate basically was more of a globalist, basically saying, I'm going to align myself with the EU, with NATO, that kind of situation, with the globalists, Ukraine. Whereas Viktor Orban was basically saying, strong man, but here's the most powerful thing.
From the Dominican
In any election, the most powerful thing is
millennial generation.
change.
She says,
This guy came in and said, listen, you've been doing this for how many years? Almost 20 years with this guy? 20 years? He said it's time to go. And at the end of the day, this is democracy showing that people have a voice. That people have a choice. There's a lot of places out there where democracy is fading. At least in Hungary, it appears that it's still there.
Okay, so let's talk about Trump blasting the Pope. Here's a New York Post story. Trump blasts Pope Leo as weak, says he prefers his MAGA brother after pontiffs failed jabs over Iran war and immigration. Is this it? Let me first read what he said, and then we will go through what he said. Rob, do you have what the Pope said?
I have a clip of the Pope, I believe this weekend, where he says he's going to continue to speak out against them.
Go ahead.
British the message of the church, my message, the message of the gospel. Blessed are the peacemakers. I felt in my role as being a political politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loud.
Thank you, everyone. This is Sandy and
Victor Davis Hanson, promoting dialogue, multilateral relationships among the states to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed, and I think someone has to stand up and say there's a better way to do this.
Okay, here you go. That's the Pope, and then here's the President. Go ahead, Rob.
And they're going to go back, filled up with oil.
Why did you attack Pope Leo on Truth Social?
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID, and in many cases they're outside 10 feet apart, and they were arrested. So we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person.
And sadly what happened too over the years, I think between 2007 and 2015, there was a huge increase connected to the same kind of marketing networks that were going around, kind of buying old churches, buildings.
Unless I missed something,
they only had to have, I think, 5 people to be considered a congregation. Yeah, and I mean, to call yourself a priest, and then they get themselves locked into funding and being part of the parish.
Whatever with the troops. No, this is the Pope. This is the holiest guy.
Right, you never know who you're dealing with, and then it's like any other business. Those people are doing some dirty stuff. It's not the Pope when they support the parishes or church
I'm not a fan of them going after him and then bringing up nukes. All this guy is saying is, listen, I'm not about war. We're trying to be. If you're trying to be a Christian, a good Christian, the last thing on the menu is war. And if there's a way to do it, do it. And if he's gonna bring up because I don't know if we're gonna bring up him tweeting, Pat, about him being basically Jesus and
we will do that right afterwards.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I struggled with this because it's like the Pope. The Catholic Church has become political. Let's face it. Over the last 25 years, they've become very political. They've weighed in on DEI. They've weighed in on so many things, and they've also done, kind of ride the line. Well, what we really interpret is this. So they've actually moved, and they've moved things. People say, well, that's progressive. That's that. Not if your handbook is the Bible and it says that 1 foot is 12 inches and an inch is this much, then you don't try to change it over time so that 1 foot is 14 inches or 8 inches. You don't change your standards. And the Pope has kind of moved with that some people call, progressive Catholicism. I don't know. On the other hand, where Trump is, if you're not with me, you're against me. And he's very, very clear about that. And while he's trying to get things done on a world stage, he's going to react to things that he thinks. Remember, it wasn't just this comment by the Pope. There's been other things, and there was a closed-door meeting. And so Trump is a little annoyed with the Vatican because Trump sees the Vatican as a political voice. And it's like, if you're going to be a political voice out there, this is what we're trying to do. Last time I checked, Trump didn't say this, but Tom says this. The last time I checked, the path to peace in the Bible sometimes got a little bit bloody and a little bit messy because humans are humans. And so this is a heavy tweet, but I think I understand where it's coming from. You know, if you're not with me, you're against me.
Yeah. Adam.
Well, let me take off my yarmulke and put on my cardinal hat. Here's what we know about Trump.
Here's your APAC baseball hat.
Thank you, buddy.
Stopped on the side of the road. The officer then went to investigate the scene, leading to the...
Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, better outcomes, and live better lives as cancer survivors.
Okay. Can I talk to you just for a second, though? I just want to talk to you, if that's okay. Is that your child in the back? Yeah. Oh, okay. Someone just said that it looked like maybe you needed assistance. I just was wondering if everything's okay. I need assistance. Yeah, and you were walking on the side, so I just want to make sure everything's okay. Me up for work, so yeah, everybody be pissed if somebody like me. Oh, got it. Okay. Okay. Just one kid's in the back? Yeah. Okay. Where do you work? Oh, okay. Yeah, someone just said that you were outside the car, so that's why I just wanted to make sure. Because he just came. Oh, so were you walking then home? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna talk. Who's that in regards to you? Who's driving? My kid father. Okay. Link's gonna go over there. Hello. Does your window go down any farther? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, I just want to make sure everything's okay. So were you late picking her up, or? Okay. All right. So everything's okay. Yes, ma'am. Do you mind if I just have your ID just to say, you know, everything's okay? Oh, you have an ID, ma'am? Oh, okay. So then everything's okay then. It just was a little bit of maybe argument or something like that, or nothing like that. She was just walking, you picked her up. That's all it was. Can you just give me a second? I'll be right back, okay? I'm just gonna verify status.
A status check by the officer revealed to her that the driver currently had a suspended license and was out on parole, with a strict condition of not having any contact with Andrea. Andrea herself had no driver's license issued either.
So I see you have a status of suspended. Was it because of maybe a citation you didn't pay? Okay. Do you have someone that is a valid driver, whether they're from her work or close by? No, nobody not close by, so we can't drive home. Well, yeah, because does anyone you know have a valid license? No, because I can't drive home. Well, because... No, I got my baby and I'm about to be standing here on this road. No, let's just, no. I can't drive. Just, hold on. Ma'am, just calm down. I'm just trying. Can you just... Listen, I got a car, somebody come pick up my car. No, that's how to say that. That's what I'm trying to say is a valid driver. I just don't want you to be in the roadway though. Okay, ma'am? I understand it was a difficult situation. I'm not trying to make it worse. So can you just please stand out of the roadway for me? I just don't want anything to happen to you, okay? No, because these white people out here want to call them. They can't never see nobody just walking. Oh, she was concerned. There ain't no concern. They always being nosy. But it's not nosy, ma'am. They want to make sure that you're okay. Okay, because somebody beating them up. Yeah, that's something that she was concerned about. She thought that you didn't want to go in the car. No, she thought that she was concerned for your welfare. So isn't that a good thing, though? Or people that care about each other? That's not. That's because it's their protocol, because there is no valid driver that I can go and try to... I gotta call somebody. How about everybody is at work? Who gonna come and get my car? I got my whole baby in this car. Ma'am, I'm... No, because I can go to jail tonight. Why would you go to jail? Because you're gonna let me take my car and go to... No! I don't understand what you're doing right now. No! I don't know.
Somebody that they look at as their supreme leader, like, you gotta go to somebody. But even more, it's
Okay, I'm gonna talk with him for a second, okay?
I'm sorry, the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Vatican.
Yeah.
Those are the two major... So listen, they're different.
Yeah, I said 1.2 billion. My apology, I don't want the Catholics to be upset with me because, you know, I have a lot of Catholics friends. 1.422 billion. By the way, you ready for this? They have 220,000 parishes worldwide. That's churches. They have 3,000 dioceses. 4 600,000 priests.
Step over here out of the road, man.
Worldwide. 600,000 religious
out of the road.
nuns.
Come over here.
200,000 Catholic schools globally. 50 million students
She good to go?
worldwide. 1,300 universities. 5,000 to 6,000 hospitals. 15,000 plus clinics. 16,000 plus homes for the elderly, disabled, orphans. I have had nothing but great experience with Catholics. Nothing. Here's what my challenge is. I've never had any issues with Jews. I've never had any issues with Catholics. But they have issues with each other. Okay?
I don't have issues of any issues with Catholics. I think the old school Catholics, the old school had major issues with the Jews.
Yeah. Well,
and then I think in the 1960s they said, you know what, guys? Let's pump the brakes on all the Jew hate and all that.
15, 20 minutes
still,
usually
like,
to have
did
someone,
you
have a valid
watch
driver.
Godfather?
Are you able to find
What's
someone
Godfather?
possibly?
You want to go into the history
Yeah,
of
it's really hard to
Catholicism
find.
and how much power and authority and mobbing.
Because otherwise we would have to tow the car, but I mean,
there are
if
so
she had
many
someone from her work, I know it is so close, and like a break or something, but maybe that could work, I don't know.
Everybody's at work. And your church has a history of a lot of issues. You're kind of contradicting yourself in your
Okay, I understand where
you
you're
have to
coming
kind of be able to balance that, but at the same time, guess what? That's what comes. The Vatican has a lot of power. Think about if you wanted to have control over 1.422 billion people around the world in a sense. Christians couldn't pull this up. Mormons couldn't pull this up. Catholics couldn't. What a power. And so here's the question. Who's more powerful? Can you run a poll out? I'm actually so curious to how the audience votes. I kind of have an idea which way they're going to vote. Who has, no, I don't want you to say anything. I just want to give it 3 minutes. Who has more power? Humberto, don't call the bots people. Yeah, I don't keep touching any of your bots people. Who has more power? Jews or Catholics? Does the Catholic Church have more power or Jews?
I felt like I was going to call for Toke. She literally said, I've already tried. Of course, like, I would have had a different ride if I, you know.
Just want to make sure Rob gets the right.
Oh, is that why I'm
No,
I just and it was my fault.
And I'm not even putting.
I hope I don't have to call for Toke, but it's entirely possible, and it will be a big thing.
Do you know what's the funny thing with power? You know what's the funny thing with power? It's like, it's always the other guy that wants more power.
Yeah, I don't want it to be.
Not you. You're the humble.
We didn't get the mom's information.
You know, it's always the other guy that wants more control. You
they
don't.
know how this
Definitely,
works. It's
Jews don't want any control. It's the other guy. Catholics don't want any control. It's the other guy. Islam doesn't want any control. It's the other guy. Everybody wants control. Why do they want control? Why do they want control? Think about why they want control. Because what? Because they want to be able to push their own what? Agenda and what you believe in. And guess what? I think that's very fair. You know, if you live in a community, like, you know, there's such a thing as HOA, right? You know what HOA is? Homeowners Association. So, for instance, like, let's just say you live in a community.
Not a big deal. It's just operating it while suspended.
You have a house
you can get your
that's on 1 lot.
renewed.
And I have a house
February
that's on 3 lots.
2022.
Okay? But we pay our HOAs
it looks like
fairly.
they're gonna go then.
Now imagine the
with your
person
kid and everything.
1 lot
Is there
says we
a
want to charge
$5,000
$5,000 per person who lives in this community per lot.
I saw they're on probation.
So
though,
who does it
from
favor?
robbery,
Who does it
yeah.
not
So
favor?
you know you're
The
aware of
guy
that.
with
Do
1
you know how
lot
long
says,
that's
yes, that's fair. The guy with 3 lots like, what are you talking about, bro?
Okay.
But you know, no,
So,
we're going to keep
step
everything
out
$5,000. No, you take more land in a community. Everybody's got an agenda. Everybody
I have
does.
to
So
talk about
when
these
we get
tickets and
into the
everything with
innocent
them.
stuff, listen, I said to myself, I'm from
Is
Iran.
someone going to remove this car
So
then
when
first,
people are like,
or
well, you know, you're from Iran. Yes, I don't like the IRGC. I've said it a
I do just
million.
have to talk
I've
with
made
you a little more.
videos about
If
this
you come
over a
back to my
decade.
squad, this doesn't have
Talking
anything to do
about
with
how
you
I feel
though.
about
So
it.
if you come
They're
here,
bad
Jonathan.
people.
Yes.
They're evil. They're not wired like you. And the world is a better place if they're gone. Do I have some biases because I live with these guys? 100%.
Said that they do want to place a hold
It's the
because
people when they're like, well, I don't have it. Well, I don't have this. I don't have this.
Okay, does that
Acting
seem
like
like
you're so innocent.
people
Everybody's got
are
their own stuff that's going on. So now, Trump does something else that kind of pissed a lot of people off, and this deserves criticism, and it's a well-deserved criticism. Posted picture of himself that was posted.
Right? So
You should be thinking about, are you ready for the next storm? Are you ready for the next bear market? Ridgeline is what I call a cumulative advantage. It's not a different way than any other technology paradigm in the past. I'm saving time. With the speed of Ridgeline, you don't need to draw 5 people into a room and say, how are we going to tackle this? We continue to evolve on Ridgeline's platform. How do I improve this machine constantly? And that's the difference. That's what the partnership brings to you. I think we're going to do everything on Ridgeline. And we're excited for that.
I'm Wazashire, and this is P90X, Generation X.
Soldiers in a bag, and then come back February 4th, and then when they come back, America has been sick for a long time. President Trump is healing this nation, and then go to the new one that the president tweets. And so the president tweets this one. Yeah, so the one in the middle, people are like, well, what is that? What is that person? So, anyways, I'll pause you, Vinny, your thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, okay, well, honestly, what is that? Is that the Antichrist? Is that a demon? Why of all the things that you change, you just change that into those questions? But listen, in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, it says, God will not be mocked. Period. End of story. Full stop. I know we're talking about Catholics and Jews and all that stuff, but I mean, look at the track record. I played a video a long time ago saying that Trump said that he's not a Christian. Then he also did on Air Force One, he said, I'm not going to heaven. Okay? And then, when he got sworn in, he didn't put his hand on the Bible. I know that's not a huge deal, but the Bible's right there. I think Melania was holding it, and he didn't put his hand on it. This type of stuff, Pat, and again, people like you said could have their opinions, and everybody has their thing. I'm not a fan of that, and putting it there and then adding the whatever the heck. Like somebody probably forgot, somebody intended to use it, and you reuse it. It's not like it's I don't know if I can show this picture here around.
Okay, so he said he wants to have everything go with you.
Okay, is that okay? Tom, your thoughts on the picture of the president posting that. How do you feel about that?
So that's
just like a meme in a day.
So if you just want to take this, okay? Okay, so
something like this.
It's a probation violation. You can't have contact with Andrea without the agent's permission. Stop it though, stop. Alright?
And he says, I'm not a spiritual guy. It's kind of like, it's kind of like Charles Barkley saying, man, I'm not a role model. Make me out to be. I'm not a role model. And if this was Mother Teresa here, no one has any trouble with it. He would without the very a symbol of healing, touch, things like that. And I think this is just, I can't read into it. Maybe he's saying, you know what? I want to fix things, and I want to bring things forward. I don't see it religiously. I see.
I don't know if I like it, Tom. I don't know if I like it.
It's kind of like.
I don't know if I like it.
It's off.
Do you know why I don't like it, Tom? Like when it comes out to, certain things like with God.
You're making me make the dog bark.
Leave this one alone. Go and see yourself above every other man. And by the way, this is coming from a guy that's Assyrian. And guess what Assyrians were known for? Well, what happened to us? Hey, let's go visit our country, Vinny. Where's our Vinny? Rob, can you pull up on the map Assyria? Pull up on the map Assyria, and once you pull up the president of Assyria, and here's an Assyrian saying this. Where's our country? We don't have a country.
Holy rock. It's Baghdad. We're Baghdad.
No, but I want to find out who is the president of Assyria.
There is none.
So what happened to Assyrians? I thought we were the first warriors 6,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. I thought we conquered the biggest. I thought we invented, the
beer, irrigation,
the capitalism, mercantilism, everything that we have right now, capitalism. Can you pull up stuff that Assyrians invented? Assyrian Empire invented. Go to what things Assyrian Empire invented.
No. Hold on.
If you go to stuff that they invented, okay, from can you just go to ChatGPT? It'll list it out for you. If you go there. The stuff that Assyrians invented is insane. I mean, insane. You go read the Bible. Go watch the language Aramaic. Me and Vinny speak Aramaic, right? We're trying to get Tom and Adam and Rob to learn. Rob's the closest so far, but we're weapon, math, business, you name it. Assyrians. What happened to the Assyrian Empire? We fell. Why did we fall? Do you know Assyrians were so crazy that they would go get lions to say, you're not the king of the jungle, we are. Can you imagine how crazy you have to be to say, hey, we would go kill lions just to say, we're the kings of the jungle, we're Assyrians. And then what?
Too cocky.
Little too cocky.
You think we built? You guys try to build the Tower of Babel.
We built something, a tower.
You guys try to
Babel
reach up there.
To go and say, hey God, listen, we're kind of stronger than you. And then he said, wait, who are you guys? Do you know what this thing called the famine is?
Wow.
You're gone. Go ahead, Assyrians. Okay, now there's still, listen, see a few of us left. We are very aspirational.
That's right.
We bought 11 acres. We're trying to build a small little country here in Fort Lauderdale.
Papa Gabriel
right?
could be the godfather.
We believe the future looks bright. But no, I think the part is, there's one thing you don't play with. You just don't. You don't play with God. It's the only thing. Play with anything you want to play with, you know. And I'm somebody, you know, we were with the UFC president, Dana. We're there sitting right next to everybody, family. We spoke to Marco Rubio. We were with everybody 2 days ago with a torn ACL, walking out with a limp from Compton, like that kind of a true, legit limp.
Like you were on the card.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is, like, you know, I just don't think there's any benefit to things having to do with God. Leave that one alone. Very simple. I think leave that one alone. That's my feedback. There's no benefit. And listen, is he being funny about it? Is he trying to get under the skin of the Pope? Is he trying to get under the skin of people? Is he trying to get another thing that the people are talking about? Of course he is. But this is one you just avoid. There's no winning here. There's no benefit to it here.
I don't know. I hear your point,
yeah.
And I'll raise you this. If people still get offended by a Trump tweet, that's on you, bro. I'm not saying you, sir. I'm saying in general. How many times? Oh my God! I can't believe Trump. Oh, what'd he do? Yeah. But we've been seeing this for a decade. He's got his own platform, Truth, to basically say, Twitter, you wouldn't allow it, and I got my own thing. You're not gonna silence this guy. If every time you freaked out at what he does, you'd go insane. So to me, stop being offended. That's number one. Number two, he's the most consequential president in our lifetime by far.
This one's called
Barack Obama, goodbye. Maybe Reagan was. In our lifetime, Trump's the guy. And you know Trump's religion? Let me tell you Trump's religion. Above all, you know what it is? America first. Straight up. I don't think he's necessarily a God-fearing guy. You know, he'll call out Allah, praise be Allah. He'll call out the Pope, boom, 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 whatever this picture was. He'll call out Israel. They don't know what the F they're doing. Whatever it is, next thing he's going to go after, Buddhists and Hindus. Anyone can get it. You can agree or you can disagree. That's fine. But when you come at Trump, don't miss. Literally, could have an ear blown off because he's going to come back 10 times harder. You know what's the famous quote about wrestling with a pig? Be careful when you wrestle with a pig because you're going to both end up get dirty and the pig loves it. Yeah, Trump's born for this.
But be careful when you're beside the pig, when you're messing around with Jesus Christ. That's not good. When you're trying to be that guy, and I know he didn't make the meme, he reposted it, but what are you trying to say? And I'm not like, oh my God. I'm just like, bro, he made a great point. Sit that one out. You can talk crap about the Pope and do a 500-word thing to the Pope. That's fine. He's a human being. He's still a man. He's flawed. He sins. Not that guy. That's
Pope sins now?
Yeah. What do you mean? Does he sin? Of course. Everybody's here.
Watch your tongue. All right. Let's go to the next story. Next story I want to get to is a guy that's been sinning publicly and privately. Okay, and some of the stuff became public. Okay, Eric Swalwell. And this guy was supposed to be the leading gubernatorial candidate for the state of California, and now they're gonna get not Tom Sawyer, but Tom Steyer. Or they may get our friend Katie Porter. Okay, the hottest thing going on in California, which
everybody wants to have some sort of work to quality of life balance. I feel like Mark Vision's that second and third shift that's working on identifying those listings and doing takedowns on an automated basis while we're sleeping and all those things. So when you start to monetize that,
I am suspending my campaign for governor. He could have replaced that with, the Democrats have fired me after realizing I don't stand a chance of winning. To my family, staff, friends, and supporters, I am deeply sorry for mistakes and judgment I've made in the past. I will fight the serious false allegations that have been made, but that's my fight, not a campaign's fight, okay? My question is campaigns. Let me ask you, is that apostrophe S? Because you know he used ChatGPT because of that line.
Yeah.
But what, campaigns, not a campaigns. Rob, is that proper English with the apostrophe?
Yeah, the campaign is a noun, meaning the campaign doesn't own the fight.
Okay, so ChatGPT got it right. So we see this, and can we show that video or no? Is that video, I know it's soft porn.
I know.
Can we show that or no?
I think so.
I think so. There is nothing going on, right? Is it, Rob? I don't want
No, she's just, he's married.
And if you listen close, you can hear a narrator.
Is this it, Rob? I don't know if anybody else showed it either, but Anyways, there's a video of him making out with this girl, and then it gets a little bit worse. Nothing happens. There's no liftoff. There was nothing that took place. But, is this him saying that he's dropping out?
No, yes, but it's from the billionaire that has funded his last 3 campaigns. Supposedly it's at the billionaire's home.
Right.
So what did he do? He ran to his biggest donor and his biggest benefactor, who he's been pushing legislation for.
Allegedly, the biggest donor asked for $1 million back from him that he gave to him. Allegedly.
Yep. He was at that guy's house, supposedly.
Okay, so play this clip, and then Tom, I'm going to come to you because it looks like you know a lot about it.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations. I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened. And I will fight them with everything that I have. They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the front-runner candidate for governor in California. I do not suggest to you in any way.
Is this the stepping out or what is this?
This is him saying, before the video came out, he's like, I did not do this. It's like the Democratic...
And Rob, you want to play the other clip you just texted me? The clip I just texted you what you texted me. Nothing crazy. Don't, if it goes, Rob, if any close comes off, Rob.
I got you.
God, is that a house or is that a hotel?
Who is this? Hey, listen close.
All right, pause it right there. It's fine. It's fine.
Get there.
You got the idea.
My wife won't be home for a
So,
while.
Pat, and by the way, there's a girl in the back that...
And that's Martin Shkreli who tweeted that?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, here is it. My sources, it was taken in his home. This is, and this woman is a sex worker, allegedly. And if you see, because there's 2 videos.
Whose foot is that? Like, whose shoe is that?
There's a guy in the bed with them. There's a guy, they're trying to figure out who's there, who's recording.
Come on, Pat, wake up, man. There's always got to be a guy filming.
No, but Pat, there's a girl that shows up in the back that looks like another girl, worker, whatever, allegedly. She runs back because she sees that somebody has a camera. She gets up, but there's a guy in the bed, and then there's a guy obviously recording. So 1, 2,
but we don't know who the guy is.
No, there's 5. See that guy's head? I mean, it's going to come out. You're going to find out.
See that guy's head.
He has nice sneakers on me. He has Nikes.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool dunks.
That's what Vinny's looking at, the sneakers.
So, okay, so we don't know who that guy is, though.
Nope.
Well, they're going to identify him. See his face right there.
They're going to find him.
So, go
Not
to
Gavin Newsom.
the comment section.
If we listen close,
Go
the guy is saying,
comment section
Congressman,
to see
I
if
can't
we know
break
who the
100.
guy is. Go ahead, Tom.
So, here's what I think.
Why did this happen? That's the real question.
Okay.
Of course, it's fun and games, but why did this happen, Tom?
Yep. So, everything comes out at once. So, we summarize it. This video. That's right. This video. Unbelievable. 2 campaign workers, come out and say he was hitting on us. One gentleman puts up a tweet, says he was hitting on my wife. We have the evidence. If he wants to sue me, but don't you dare say a word about my wife. She worked for the campaign, and this is where it happened. All over this weekend from Friday. It's like a suddenly groundswell. Who gave the media, so I'm going to ask this controversial question. Who gave the media permission to run with this? The mainstream media is on a leash with the DNC. That's not allegations. We've seen it so many times. Rob, do you have the polling information? So let's look under the covers, shall we?
Oh my goodness.
It says, and we find the California primary is known as, and this is what they call it, ladies and gentlemen, it's called the jungle primary. There's no DNC primary, there's no RNC primary. There is one primary coming up in June in California, and the top 2 run for governor. Frequently, the poor Republican has never had a chance to be in the top 2, or you're so far behind, it's crazy. But this year, they call it law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. All the animals have to fight. Who's gonna be the one that comes out on top? So, take a look at this. Top 2 move on. Steve Hilton, 17.1%. Chad Bianco, 13.5%. First and third. Eric Swalwell, there were things leaking out, and he's been dropping a little bit. And Katie Porter is seen as like this very angry woman, and the polling says that, not me. It's not an allegation. Polling says that voters found that her anger and everything was unbecoming of a candidate. The Dems were looking at a situation that if just the conservative media show this, they might have Hilton and Bianco running. This is Emerson College poll that was released to the media by Democrat source. Wait a minute. Why are the Democrats releasing unfavorable